Meeting is called to order. Please stand.
Good evening, everybody. If you would all stand for a moment of prayer. A moment of silence. Something new.
Thank you. Could we have roll call, please?
Don's running.
Oh, and pull your mic down, too.
Hold on a second. We have- Roll call, please.
All right, ready? Chair Holloway,
Here.
Member Rivera,
Here.
Member Carney,
Here.
Member Grigsby,
Present.
and Chair Oquendo provided absence, or provided notice of his absence this evening, so he will have an excused absence for the record. Member Wolfer,
Here.
and Member Wolfer will be a voting member this evening.
Yes, indeed. We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes? If so, do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Passes.
opposed?
Passes 5-0.
Passes. Thank you. New business, we have ordinance number 2021-55, Article 3, zoning regulation, Division 27, Entertainment District, DRC case CDA 20-0001. The applicant is the City of St. Cloud.
Good evening, Planning Commission, Abismael Abreu, City Manager's Office. And I am here to present Ordinance 2021-55. This ordinance is for a land development code amendment, specifically the Entertainment District overlay. Okay. The purpose of this amendment is, first and foremost, it's a collaboration with the businesses located in the downtown. The city is proposing two things. One is the outside alcohol consumption provision, and the second one is the creation of an entertainment district event permit. All this is with the purpose of creating opportunities for a concentration of amenities, entertainment venues within the pedestrian-friendly segment of the city of St. Cloud. We have identified a few benefits with this proposal. One is the encouragement, like I mentioned previously, the encouragement of events, artistic performances, and other such forms of organized entertainment within the district. The second one is building a reputation of a city that's livable, walkable, entertaining, and that cares not only for the quality of life of its residents, but also for the success of its businesses. Third one is this is a collaboration between the business community, nonprofit organizations, city residents, and local government, serving as the perfect example of community cooperation. And lastly, we're trying to create a destination location. And that goes in accordance with our city economic development strategic goals and objectives. So I don't know if you are not aware, but we currently have an entertainment district in the city of St. Cloud. It was established by Ordinance 2018-24. It currently but it established the boundaries for this district to be 9th Street on the north. We have the east to be Pennsylvania Avenue, the south 13th Street, and the west Massachusetts Avenue. you can currently have outdoor consumption in this current entertainment district, but only through a special event permit. So you have to be bounded by a special event, and it must be consumed within the district, and it has to follow pretty much the specifications on this special event. I'll go into a little bit more detail on my next slide. When we talked about alcoholic beverages to be able to be consumed in this special event, it's pretty much defined as only beer and wine as alcoholic beverages. The time for outdoor consumption is specified in the special event and/or cafe permit. We have a drink limit of 2 per person for removal for premises during these events on a 20-ounce container, which can be of any material. And like I mentioned, it's through the citywide special event process, which is designed for large crowds and a type of event that will require a lot of city services, like closing the roads and things of that nature. The proposed entertainment district amendment that's before you is planning on also rearranging the boundary in a little bit. To be more specific, the eastern boundary, so we have, before it was ending on Pennsylvania Avenue, now we're proposing on ending it and including Florida as well. There is a map, little depiction of it, so that you can see. I'll give you a minute so you can assess it and see what everything that's included. It includes alleyways as well. So now let's go into a little bit more detail of what the entertainment district proposed amendment it's trying to accomplish with when it comes to alcoholic beverages consumption outside. First, the ordinance is defining alcoholic beverages as beer, wine, and liquor. We're trying to establish a time frame for this type of consumption from Wednesday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Only one drink is going to be taken out per valid ID from a registered establishment. When we talked about a registered establishment, it's an establishment that's licensed to sell alcoholic beverages in the state of Florida, and it's an establishment that has willingly come to the city and registered as, hey, I want to be part of this program, and I want to be able to serve alcohol for outdoor consumption. So they have to come and sign an affidavit with the city to be able to be part of this program. On a 16-ounce clear plastic cup container containing or marked with the registered logo for the entertainment district. So not any type of container, so it has to be bounded by this specification. And it also creates like I mentioned, it creates the entertainment district event permit that's going to essentially make it easier for events to be held downtown. People or event organizers don't have to come forward to the city and apply each time they want to hold an event, as it will include a reoccurring clause in there. So you pretty much apply one time, there'll be a time frame, and you can hold multiple events in one with just one application. And this pretty much is a graphic comparing what we currently have and what we're proposing. Like I mentioned, on the left, on the current, you can only do those things with a special event permit. On the right of your screen is actually, you get what I mean.
Yeah.
On the proposed column, I should say, we have the specification. The big thing here is being Wednesday to Saturday, so you will no longer need the special event permit as long as you're bounded by the specifications here from the time frame, Wednesday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. On a 16 fluid ounce plastic cup with a registered logo. And next slide here, we actually did some comparison with some adjoining municipalities that have adopted similar outdoor consumption ordinances. So these municipalities have had success in this area. They compare to St. Cloud by being small cities with unique character in the Central Florida region. As you can see from this table here, the proposed amendment is very similar to the other municipalities, with the exception of a few categories there. We have most notably the hours of consumption. City of St. Cloud is actually proposing a more conservative time frame from only allowing it from Wednesday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. As you see, all the municipalities are pretty much 7 days a week with more extensive hours. And the city of Claremont is a little bit different as well. They just adopted beer and wine to be served, 2 drinks per person, and a bigger container being 20 ounces. Out of this research, we found that only Mount Dora compares to what is being proposed by the city of St. Cloud as the only municipality that's actively going to be asking businesses to come and register with the city to be able to provide the alcohol for the outdoor consumption. So last time I presented in front of this board, the Planning Commission asked for a safety plan. City went back, we reconvened, we worked with the businesses downtown, we worked with police department, and we came up with some strategies to how to keep everyone safe. We're proposing increasing the police. We actually have a few more CRAS officers being added. We actually have increased surveillance with new cameras being installed. They're actually being paid for and are being installed at the moment. Signage will be posted throughout the businesses and the district detailing the do's and don'ts of this amendment. And there's also a community collaboration part of it. We understand this is a new program, so there's going to be an educational part of it that the community needs to be aware of. So we're proposing in collaboration that the business owner, they'll be working together with the city to come up with strategies on how to police to make sure that everybody's alcohol license is protected and that they keep safe their surrounding as well. And there's going to be educational for the community through various media services that we have in the city, like educational videos, tutorials of the do's and don'ts and what the ordinance pretty much means. So we're starting to do a lot of good things to make sure that the community is aware of what's happening and what's legal and what's not. Once again, I wanted to add another part of for the entertainment district event permits, and pretty much this is mostly focused on the outdoor consumption, but this is an important part of the ordinance as well. So this amendment is just creating the event permit. It's designed for those activities, a one-time or recurring, like I mentioned before, that are deemed outside of the day-to-day business in the district with the intention of attracting an influx of visitors. The ordinance pretty much incorporates all of the required documentation for application, the formal review process, as well as the steps to require any city services if needed. Like I mentioned, the intent is to simplify the process for holding events in the district, and hopefully this spurs more events. For example, the monthly market is a huge success. We would like to see more of those happen in the city of St. Cloud and highlight our downtown as well. Let's fly through this real quick. So we have the entertainment district amendment. We find it to be compatible with our strategic plan goals of economic development and growth management. And one more thing I want to mention before I move to this slide is that city management is proposing to consider this amendment as a trial. What this means is the city will be reviewing its effectiveness 6 months after its adoption. The review will allow the city the opportunity to address any issues that might come up. This is a new program for us. We want to make sure we do it safe. So we're going to do it on a trial basis for 6 months, and then we'll revisit it after the adoption to see what's working and what's not working in collaboration with businesses downtown. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. The Chamber of Commerce review and provided no negative comments. And I'm here this evening requesting that the Planning Commission recommends approval of ordinance 2021-55. Here, if you have any questions, as well as members of the communities, if anything.
Yeah, I have several questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Me too. Me too.
Why do we start on Wednesday?
Yeah.
There's nothing going on during the week. I mean, from Friday through Sunday, and Sunday hours maybe being different than the ones from Friday and Saturday. That would be more appropriate. And could you put the map back up here?
Put a big one.
Yeah. Why are you taking in Florida Avenue? There's residences here especially on the east side of Florida Avenue. And I can just imagine if you're starting this on Wednesday already, these people got to go to work the next morning. And here they got a bunch of drunks out on the road. That's, and how are you controlling this with the 2 drinks? Are you saying they can only walk out with 2 drinks, but they can go right back in and get more?
Okay.
Is it 2 drinks or is it 1 drink?
It's 1 drink.
One drink.
per
First it
ballot?
was 2 drinks, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 1 drink, yeah. I mean,
They need to have.
So why Wednesday? Monthly market. Monthly market happens on Wednesdays. We wanted to make
that
sure
is,
to include
that
it.
is 1 day. So then you still got Thursday.
Correct.
And it's once a month, that Wednesday. You know, you can make that exception that for the monthly market day, then it would also be Wednesday, but not the rest of the month.
Correct. So it's just pretty much a happy medium that we came up instead of
Well-
doing the 7 days.
Yeah, but then, you know, if somebody would want to, if you're making it from Wednesday through the weekend, every week, then you can't keep anybody from doing it.
Yeah. But you have to
You know.
remember the intent is to bring people in downtown. If we just limit it to the weekend, that means the businesses downtown will only do revenue on the weekend. So that's kind of, we have to take into
Plus,
account those things as
they're also
well.
not saying that there's going to be an event every week, every Wednesday, or even every Thursday. What if New Year's Eve falls on a Wednesday or a Thursday? They have to go back and get another permit.
No,
I
that
would-
they can all be put in you know including holidays, you know, the last time we had that in front of us, we also said, you know, to go up all the way to 13th Street and then have people with alcohol walking on the sidewalk next to a bunch of cars going by. That's not the safest thing. Up on 13th Street, there are no restaurants up there. It's car dealership and so forth. You know, why don't we leave it and cut it off on 12th Street? And that's what we recommended the last time, and now you're coming back again with 13th Street.
Yeah, well, we haven't changed that boundary at all. That's currently the boundary right now. The only one that changed was the Florida one.
Yeah, but our recommendation was not to go up all the way to 13th Street.
Yeah, and, you know, we're pretty much building for the future. So eventually this area, it's all in the central business district. It's designed for commercial pedestrian uses. This being one of them, eventually this will spur redevelopment in the area for more businesses to come.
Yeah, but see,
and
these
consider
things
those
can be
properties.
expanded as we
As we
see
grow.
it's working
Yeah.
out and it's growing. You know, you don't, you know, just put everything out there, you know, right from the get-go. You know, let's see how it works out. But we got to be on the safe side because the city can get sued.
Yep.
If you have people with alcohol walking up on 13th Street. You know, we don't want, you know, we don't want that. So that's
And
my
this is
answer
only
to-
just when there's an actual event, so it's not every week,
It will be,
every Wednesday through
it
Saturday.
will be Wednesday through Saturday.
every day.
From
Every
11 to
Wednesday.
12, correct.
Mhm.
That is the proposal, and if the planning commission has a recommendation, then we can add those to a motion as well.
But I also think that you have to think about the restaurants and all that are coming in there and the atmosphere they're trying to create. It's not a wild, crazy party all the way from 9th Street to 13th Street. It's the fact that I get a drink at Loading and I want to walk over to Breezes because some friends are over there. I want to go to the cigar bar and sit. You can be able to take your drink over there and enjoy. I mean, I think, like you'd said, the safety precautions that are put in there, you know, even 1 drink per person from 11 until midnight. I'm having more than 1 drink from 11 till midnight. You know, if you go down there and you pay, you know, we want people to come to the downtown and patronize them. We want more businesses to open, so.
Yeah, but we
I
want to
think-
be safe and
But we
we don't
can't
want to
police the
disturb
world.
the residents
Correct.
that are
Their own.
living there.
And I understand, you know, that it's, the language is open, but there's nothing that stopped them from doing it now. We don't know what people are carrying on their jetty cups, you know what I mean? So
That is
So
true.
there's something that, you know, that we can really regulate everything, but as far, we put provision as far as 1 drink per ballot ID coming out, the ability to, having to finish your drink before you go to the next establishment as well, and on top of that, we have bars downtown, and the bartenders know if a person is, obviously can't take any more alcohol, they're legally pretty much stop you. They won't sell you anymore. So these are the
See-
things that we have to take
See,
into account
I
as
have
well.
no problem with the idea. The only thing I have a problem with, it going all the way up to 13th Street
Yep.
and it being every week from Wednesday through Sunday, okay? Saturday.
Yes.
Well, but you know, a lot of the events are also on Sunday. it really should be included for special events.
If they
You know.
would like to be have an event on a Sunday, then they'll do the entertainment district event permit.
Well, but why can't we include that for special event, that it's also good for Sunday?
It's open if you want to
You
include an
know,
extra day.
you see what
I'm
I'm
totally
saying?
open for that.
But
yes.
it doesn't have to be from Wednesday every week. You know, it can be just for the market on Wednesday, and
Once a month.
in just once a month, and then otherwise from Friday through Sunday, because that's when the events are going to be taking place, unless and holidays, unless there's a holiday any other time of, you know. But you know, that's my take on it.
I share your sentiments on the borders. I don't necessarily think it needs to go all the way to Florida or to 13th. However, I disagree because I do go to downtown specifically for an event at an establishment on a Thursday. So for me, just cutting it to monthly market is not, because there are other events, other things going on. I did have a question. Could we circle back to the containers?
Yes.
Is this something that the businesses are going to be required to purchase? Is it reusable? Is it a one-time use? Do you turn it in at the next place you go to? Because if it's logoed, then obviously there's going to be a cost incurred somewhere along the way.
Correct. So right now we're working on the logistics of that, working with Main Street specifically to make sure that we keep the cost low. So to answer your question, yes. So it will have to be, the businesses will have to purchase these cups. They will be already stamped with the register logo. So it's just one cup, one use. If I'm not mistaken, and one of the bar owners downtown can clarify this, but the Florida law pretty much doesn't allow the reuse of cups, so you have
That's
to throw it away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I said
Either
that right.
that or they have
But I
to
could also
wash.
see that, because I'm in the entertainment business, and I could see, because I could do this too. I get a cup from one of the places, save the cup, and I ain't got to spend no money. I just keep filling it up myself.
And that's why we'll have
You
more.
can't prevent that, but it's something that's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's
But if-
something that's literally happening now during this event. So unfortunately, that we can't see everything. So just adding more police to the area to hopefully catch those things and assign their fines for it, then hopefully that stops it.
Well, I have a suggestion. You need to go to the IAPA convention. That's done. That's here in Orlando right now, and they have an
It's fun.
armrest, okay, that tells you how many times you've been through everywhere, and it has a charge and everything to it. It kills every other problems.
Yeah, I don't know if the business owners would
We
like
want to pay for that.
that system.
That's
Well-
not a cost.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do it,
But
and the
then-
safest way, because if I go red, I can't get served again. If I go green, go for it.
So
Easy keasy, I mean. And if you're gonna be a usual every week, make that ID for 365 days. There's lots of ways of doing it. They're here in town right now at their convention at the Orange County Convention and Business Bureau.
Yeah, I don't know how cost effective that will be for the business owners downtown. So I'll let them.
Well,
Pretty
it'd
much.
be the consumer that will
Yeah.
have to purchase it,
They don't have to do anything. It's a consumer, $10 at the gate.
right?
And that'll help you pay for the extra patrol. We're short of police officers right now. And for us to put that on top of that, and I live on 10th Street, I invite anybody to sit on a Friday night or a Saturday in my driveway and see how many speeders go by. And then that curve by the water thing, my next door neighbor just moved in. He had a car coming from Delaware up to 13th, and the girl ran the stop sign and she hit the house. She hit the little girl's bedroom. No.
Well, I hope that's not because they didn't have a permit for a party, but what I would like to ask you is, what did the other cities have an issue with? Anything in particular?
They're pretty successful in their program.
I think that I agree with their regulations. I live in a free America, and I don't think we need to police the world. People need to do that on their own. So if it's going to be happening, it's going to happen. So I personally would love to see that it was all nights of the week, and that it was something that to drive more business. That's the whole idea, is to drive business downtown. So I love it. The registered logo, does that mean that the business would pay for participation as well as pay for these cups?
Only for the cups, just purchasing materials for their business. For the registration, we're not requiring anything.
Because as you see, the other cities there's no logo on their cups, so that's why I'm just
Correct.
kind of
So,
saying.
so
it's-
funny story. They started with a logo on their cups, and they slowly went away with it because it was not as
Yeah.
cost effective or it was
Needed.
pretty much a hassle. Yeah.
Wasn't needed.
So we're doing this right now just to trying to appease and make sure that we keep regulating. Like, hey, it's making it easier on police as well to.
And it
to
doesn't
keep a
hurt the
tab on
city
this.
getting more permits, like, I mean, when you get a permit, do they pay for a permit for a special event in the city?
Currently, they
Okay.
do. Yeah.
So is the city gonna say, we're losing revenues because we're not getting as many permits for our special events? Or do we think it'll just overall?
No, because
add?
it's special events, because we want to bring people in,
Right.
we're always waiving fees to make sure that they come in. So it's not really making or losing any money for the city. Well, it's losing money because you're not collecting revenue, but we're trying to do everything we can just to spur movement in the city. So most of the special events, especially the monthly market and things of that nature that city sponsor, we're waiving those fees
Yeah.
for those special events.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have any problem with the boundaries. I just wonder like how weird it is to go like this way. I'd say like take it all the way down to 8th Street, but there we are. The residents, people who live in a downtown, whether you live in a city or a downtown, usually are okay with that kind of activity and that lifestyle. So I think the boundaries are great and doesn't leave out places like the coffee shop and things like that. So I think it's great.
Anything else?
Anybody have any more questions?
Are there some of the shops owners here? Would anybody like to tell
Yeah, I
us
would like
what
to
their
hear
take
from-
is on it and why they're supporting it?
I would like to hear their point of view.
Well,
Madam Chair, you're
I'm
gonna-
sorry.
you're going
be
to call
calling-
for,
I'll be calling for
forgot.
that.
you'll be calling for public comment,
right.
so.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Do we have any public comments? Anybody want to step forward?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm Paula Stark, Executive Director of St. Cloud Main Street. We just wanted to let you know, we became involved because we knew you all had concerns, and so what we did is created a subcommittee of all of our restaurants and bars that are downtown. They worked in like several meetings and hashed out through the ordinance what was proposed previously and made recommendations back to the city. Most of these things that you are hearing this evening is a result of those conversations with all of those people. One of the things we would like to let you know, well, first of all, I talked to a sheriff in Georgia who they had instated this, and he was like thrilled with it. He said it was the greatest thing that happened to them. It helped their police department actually manage that kind of activity on a regular basis. It's kind of new in Florida. All of this is a little new, but there are main streets across the state who are looking at this on a regular basis now and trying to instate it in their communities. Secondly, through some of the signage that you're talking about within the ordinance, Main Street has agreed to pay for the signage for those businesses who would like for the alcohol not to come into their businesses, like retail stores. So we have agreed that we would pay for those things in addition to signage for the individual bar owners and restaurant owners to have the ordinance posted exactly what it says, and so that people will know coming in and going out what's supposed to happen. But it is a huge economic driver, and the one thing that you need to know, it's a 6-month period to try it. So it's not like you're doing this forever and ever, amen, and no one is going to go back and look at it again. So there will be some, adjustments potentially as they go forward. But the biggest thing is to get it instated so that these events can start happening. We can garner some additional publicity for it with all of the marking that's going to be done and the outreach that will be put out there. And I think people, you kind of see it now. If you go to the monthly market, you see it now. It's happening. But as he mentioned, they're putting it in Yeti cups and other things. This way, there's a more manageable position for it. But I do have some of the restaurant owners and a couple of the bar owners are here if you'd like to speak to them individually. But we have collectively been meeting and sending information out to them regularly. So if you have any questions,
Okay, anybody have any question for Paula?
But, I do want to make a comment. So we're putting on the logo on the cups so that the officers can actually pinpoint what people have. wouldn't it be, I'm just thinking as an owner myself, more cost-effective to just get a uniform colored cup that the businesses would use instead of adding that extra cost to put a logo on a cup?
Where
While
we're-
the color cup is more visible for an officer to see versus a logo that I can cover with a napkin or my hand.
Right. We are still meeting on that. As you all know, that there, if you listen to the news, that there's a supply problem. So this is a little bit of a moving target for all of us, including Abysmal, because we're having to deal with supply problems and cost. So that's kind of, we're recommending the logo, but going through the whole process, it may have to shift a little bit just because there's some cost issues for the individual merchants in addition to actual product. We've gone to 3 different ones, and different ones have it readily available, some don't. You know, those things are happening. So we're trying to get through that process.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody else in the audience that would like to speak for or against this? I know I have, no, that's for the other, okay.
They don't have, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you have a marketing piece, like we got these, St. Cloud City? Did anybody come up with a marketing piece that you can present so you can go ahead and keep going with it, or we're just
Ms. Carney, who's your question directed to?
To the city.
to the city?
Are you referring to maybe a specific cup for the district or
No, no,
a
no,
specific
for
logo?
you.
She wants a sample, wants to
Yeah,
see
Oh,
a
a
sample.
sample.
Of drawing something. Is it tall? Is it little? Is it wide? Is it?
Well,
purple?
it is a,
I
I'm
mean, I'm
actually
guessing
going
it's
to
up
show
to the
you.
individual businesses to get
Yeah.
their specific logo on the cup.
Well, the
Yeah.
logo is the City of St. Cloud's Center
Okay.
Place for Entertainment. So we have our own entertainment district logo made, designed to be in accordance with this current city logo.
So it's this logo right here.
This one.
Yeah, it's this one right there. So it's not the individual bar owner, it's the city logo.
It's the city
that will be on the
entertainment district logo, yes. We have a specific entertainment district logo designed specifically for this. Because we want to build a character. We want to be a place of
Right.
location so that people, when they walk in and they see these logos, like, oh, we're in a special place. We're in the City of St. Cloud Entertainment District. So that's the character we want to build and hopefully evolve from that as well.
Thank you.
But as far as a sample cup, no, I do not have one,
And
unfortunately.
you don't have a sample pictures or?
Oh, it's just a clear plastic cup, and it will,
Okay.
and the one that they
No
sell,
problem.
and it will have that logo on it. So I'm trying to keep it as cost effective as possible.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, we will close the audience portion of this. Anybody have any questions? No? Well, do we have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion. It is rezoning map, right?
It's the
Rezoning map
amendment
amendment?
of the, yes, the
Rezoning.
entertainment.
I'd like to make a
district.
motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2021-55 based on the 16 findings within the land
What?
development.
No, I'm sorry, this is an amendment to the land development code on the entertainment district.
I read all 6 of these, and I'm not sure which one to use. so-
Ordinance A of your agenda, zoning regulation division 27, entertainment district. Amendment to the entertainment district ordinance, 2021-55.
Okay, approval of, or I would like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number,
The amendment to
the amendment to
ordinance
ordinance number
2021.
2021-55, Article 3, zoning regulation, Division 27, entertainment district.
Okay, as written, no changes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-2. All those in favor by show of hands? Passes 3-2. Recommended for approval as proposed to the council. It will be presented 3-2 in favor of the motion.
Thank you. And just for public record purposes and for the benefit of everyone here, the city council meeting will be this Thursday on this item, so we'll move
This
it
week.
forward. Yeah, this week, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Our next case will be ordinance number 2021-68, Frederick Townhomes Future Land Use Map Amendment, DRC case CPA 21-00023.
Good evening. Could we also have the concurrent zoning map amendment read as well?
Yeah, that would be DRC case ZMA 21-00008.
And that's ordinance 2021-58.
58, correct.
Thank you very much. Jesse Anderson, Senior Planner in Community Development. Before you, we have the Frederick Townhomes Comprehensive Plan Amendment. On this first image, we depict the overall future land use for the parcels in question, as well as the surrounding parcels. This is for approximately 10.31 acres of land located south of Frederick Road and east of Michigan Avenue. It is a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. Currently, the future land use is low-density residential in the city, which allows for 1 to 4 dwelling units per acre. The proposed future land use is medium-density residential, which would allow for 4.1 to 10 dwelling units per acre. The development is compatible with the surrounding area, and there are no adverse impacts on city facilities. It is consistent with the strategic plan goal of growth management, and DRC and staff recommend approval of ordinance 2021-68. As such, we recommend that we request that the Planning Commission recommend approval of this ordinance as well. For the concurrent zoning map amendment for Frederick Townhomes, we have before you the zoning map that depicts the current districts for the parcel in question as well as the surrounding parcels. Again, this is for 10.31 acres of land located south of Frederick Road and east of Michigan Avenue. For the background, we have a proposed future land use of medium-density residential. The current zoning is agricultural, and the proposed zoning is R3 multifamily residential, which is compatible with the proposed future land use. We do find that this is compatible with the surrounding area, and there are no adverse impacts on city facilities. It is consistent with the strategic plan goal of growth management, and DRC and staff recommend approval of ordinance 2021-58. As such, we request that the Planning Commission also recommend approval of ordinance 2021-58. Staff is available for any questions, and the applicant is here too.
Okay, thank you. Could the applicant please step forward? Please state your name.
Good evening. Craig Zetwell, Hanson and Walter.
Thank you. Would you? Oh.
You just said say my name, so I did that.
It was nice to hear that we heard your name. So what can you tell us?
This is a townhome development that we are proposing here at the intersection of Frederick and Michigan. So we've met with staff. It is the density for the proposed development would be 10 dwelling units for the 10 acres. So that's approximately 103 dwelling units. Right now we are at 80 proposed townhomes.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any question for the gentleman?
Are they going to be townhomes two-story or?
They'll be one story, single.
Anybody have any questions? Now you can sit down. Anybody in the audience that would is for or against this?
Madam Chair, I think you did have someone that submitted,
Yes, we did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you could call their name.
Sam. I can't read it. Sam, that's good.
My name's Sam Dews. I'm a resident in Michigan Estates.
If you could just give your full name and address, I'm sorry, for the record.
My name is Sam Dews, and I live in Michigan Estates.
Okay, thank you.
Address.
The address, the full address.
Is that, I mean, are your guys' addresses posted?
It's, for public comment, you just identify yourself and your address so that the community knows who's addressing the commission. You can give your address.
Okay. I live at 531 Michigan Estates Circle.
Okay, thank you.
I have a few comments regarding this. First of all, I don't understand how I myself, I am not a planner. I am in the construction trade, but to me, this seems like I don't understand how this would be congruent or similar in compliance with the development or the future land use. I know zoning and all that stuff is kind of beyond my comprehension, but to me, what I see and feel every day is the roads are overrun. And it just takes leaving the home at any 2 periods of time throughout the day. We had traffic backed up all the way to Nolte and all the way out on 192 when school started. Until things get running again, then they're always backed up. But so I take a point of contention in that it's congruent or it fits with the surrounding area, because if you look at the parcels shown in the map that was given, there are no multifamily use anywhere, in the surrounding area. I'm not opposed to development. I understand that that's just part of growing, and as a city, that's just some things that we have to deal with. But I don't think that multifamily homes in this area really fits with the community right here. There are subdivisions. There are a lot of single-family homes in this area, but as far as not being a burden to city facilities, I think that it is really clear that it's a burden to the roads. I would guess it's a burden on the utilities with all the multiple developments that are going on, but there's a large development that is going on Michigan that has not begun to go vertical yet, and with the large mass scale of that development, I know it's not for discussion right here, but there were no roadway improvements included on that. So between the middle school, the elementary school, the high school, this large, I don't think the roads can take it now, and we even have that development is already coming down the pike. So my request is that I would request for denial of this amendment, not just the future land use, but also the zoning expansion. I'm okay, and I have spoken with all my neighbors. Most of them were not aware of this. If you even went out today, it's supposed to be posted on the site. There's nothing posted along Michigan. There's nothing posted along Frederick. Only half of my neighbors in our subdivision actually received a flyer. Most people I talked to were really kind of set back by it. They did not know about it. And the flyer that I did receive has the wrong date on it. And when I showed up on that date, it was actually for like a restoration meeting. And we were told that the updated flyers and updated dates would be going out, but no one has received those. So based off of the lack of communication, the lack of information, I would at least request that this be pushed off to a further meeting and make sure that those residents in the area actually get a chance to hear about this, to voice their opinion. I can only speak for my neighbors and friends in my subdivision. I can only imagine that that we're not the only ones that did not hear about this only through secondhand. So
Well, it would only be the immediate neighbors that would be notified.
Correct.
That's the only ones that have to be notified.
Understood, but I just live in one subdivision that's on one side of this property. So I can only imagine if anyone else along Clay Drive or
They
Michigan.
would not be notified. They don't have to be notified unless they are right there within, how many, can you step forward, please? Can you answer,
Absolutely.
some of these things?
So currently, per our code, we actually create a buffer up to 300 feet on the perimeter of the property. That includes all tenants and owners within that 300-foot buffer. They are notified, and this specific case was continued to a date certain, which requires no additional type of advertisement beyond that was already provided.
Okay.
And
And
as
it was
for the-
posted?
And as for the posting, it was posted. We do have evidence of the posting. We have a picture of it that we received from the applicant.
Okay. Okay, very good, thank you. So, based on that, you know, I mean, it'll be up to the board if they would ask for a continuance. on that.
Understood. So my plea to the commission is to at least look into this further. I think that this is too intense of a use for this area, and I would suggest maybe a reevaluation for development for these parcels at this time.
But sir, this is not the final meeting, the city council has the final word. So, you can, you know, get your neighbors and come to the city council meeting.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have anybody else in the audience for or against this request? Okay, step forward.
I just wanted to clarify a bit of information that was conveyed. Per the actual future land use map before you now, as you can see, the bright yellow is actually medium density residential. So there is significant amounts of medium density residential in the area. To the north of this image, but inside of the proximity of the schools, is high density residential. And the rationale for increasing a density in this type of area is so that we can create walkability. So with higher densities, people can actually walk to these schools rather than the low densities. That's going to create a lot more traffic with people having to drive out of individual neighborhoods. This individual neighborhood itself will end up allowing a lot of the families to walk to these schools, which will take a lot of cars off the road during the actual school peak hours. So it will be beneficial to the overall development of the area in terms of traffic. Furthermore, during the subdivision construction plan phase, which is the next phase in development, a traffic impact analysis is also required.
And we're gonna make sure that there are sidewalks going from there to the schools.
They will be having sidewalks along their property. So they
But
only.
the city will make, yeah, I know they put it along their property, but the city will make sure that the sidewalk doesn't just stop at their property. It actually continues all the way to the school.
For each development that comes through, we will require a sidewalk to be continued.
Okay, thank you.
But for each development, so if a development isn't ready to be produced, there could be blanks where, so I guess the question would be, will sidewalks to get people who have that walkability be put in before all of the other construction?
We have not done a complete analysis of the current.
The city really needs to do
inventory.
that if you expect the walk, for the kids to walk to school.
The city has not done a current analysis of the sidewalks in that current area. However, each new development, which that has several, has had a sidewalk associated with it. And the two roads that are actually associated with this specific property, they both do have sidewalks. So they would be able to walk up Frederick and they would be able to walk across as well.
Okay.
As long as it's all connected. Because
And,
that's the thing, is that it's, they're put in, but then there can be spots where they're not, so
Well,
that's
the city
why.
cannot build on somebody else's private property, so of course that's.
Exactly, so that's why I say, oh, yeah, it's walkability, they'll be able to do it. Is that, will they really be able to? Is that, I think that's what our point is, we probably know you don't have the answer yet. But my question would be, you say then traffic impact study needs to be done, so it's not been done yet?
We require it at the subdivision construction plan phase, so you would
Okay,
not
help
be
me with
approving
that
yet.
because I'm new to that.
That would be
so-
after the preliminary subdivision phase. So the preliminary subdivision phase is concurrently being reviewed with this project right now. And it's a more overarching view of how the development's going to come forward.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the subdivision construction plan phase, we require a lot more information and data to make sure that everything that we have done so far for analysis is being supported.
Great. And I mean no disrespect, but I would feel more comfortable being in support of it if that was done, because I can relate to Mr. Ducey. Sam's, I drop little friends off down there a lot for school, and it's getting to be a nightmare on Michigan Avenue. So when they're going to start adding more of that, something has to be done with Michigan
Okay,
Avenue.
in our motion, we can say that we recommend that the sidewalk, that the city makes sure before final approval is given, that the sidewalks be continuous all the way to the school. And if there are no sidewalks there, that it's going to be the city's responsibility to put them in to make sure the children can actually walk to school.
I feel like that one's really separate from this per se, but I think you're absolutely right. It's just something we need to be cognizant about.
These,
but-
keep in mind, these are land use and zoning
Right.
issues. Those are pretty narrow details that are being drilled down upon, not that they're not relevant, but keep in mind that tonight's presentation is simply on the big issues.
What,
Yeah, we just make a recommendation. you
what
know.
I could recommend, if the applicant is potentially okay with it, is looking into submitting the traffic impact analysis at a sooner level. Sorry.
The traffic impact study has not been conducted just yet for this project. The reason is because we don't have entitlements to this property just yet. That's what we are asking for right now. That is a more intensive study that is actually done during the construction plan process, which Jesse was just referring to, which is a site development plan. That's a very expensive study, so typically developers do not do that until once they receive all the preliminary approval, like the PSP, and receive the entitlements for the property. But that site, that TIA, the traffic impact analysis, will be conducted, and anything that is reviewed by staff, and any recommendations that are brought forward with that will be taken care of during the construction plan process. We understand the impact of all development on the current traffic corridor. The methodology to the traffic impact analysis is also reviewed by staff prior to the traffic analysis being conducted, so that staff has the opportunity to verify that the limits is wide enough or narrow enough, whichever way they want to do it, to make sure that we identify whatever improvements would be necessary for this. But yes, we are aware that we are around all the schools, so we will actually be conducting probably a more intensive analysis, because we will not only be looking at morning and evening hours, but we would also be looking at the afternoon during the school dismissal times.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I really respect that. It's just that it's very hard to agree, like, oh, yeah, great, go ahead and do medium density, and then have an impact study. And I kind of feel like that's sometimes why St. Cloud is in the trouble that we're in from traffic situations, is because I feel like that process is not in the right order. That's just my opinion, so. But don't get me wrong, I love townhouses, because I know how many people need homes in town, so.
Yeah, what, in my personal opinion, as an engineer, the biggest problem right now is we have all the various developments coming into one single road and coming out. Because we don't have a grid network throughout the county, I'm going to say the county, that's why we have the bottlenecks that we are having. I know the county is trying to have a more county-wide grid system. So just like here in downtown, since you have a grid, you have a lot of different surface roads that can disperse the traffic. So that's what we'll be hoping to gain. The PSP actually has two entrances, one on Michigan and one on Frederick. So we are also dispersing the traffic that would be coming in and out of that development, so that they are not just coming in off of one road.
Yeah, except that with 80 townhomes or 103 units, you've now got, what, 160 cars, maybe 2 cars per, coming in and out. That's the concern that
I
have.
understand.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Dole would like to speak again. Come forward.
I just wanted to add one thing regarding the traffic, that part of that, pardon the expression, but the horse is kind of out of the barn, in that with the expansion of what the school district has done in this area, they were kind of forced to do a pedestrian study, and that they got a warrant for that traffic signal on 19th Street just just real quick. And so as far as their roadway improvements in that area, there was minimal turn lanes, and because of that, a lot of the congestion on the roadway has to deal with the school pickup is kind of bleeding out onto the city, and now it's the city's problem. So where the school needed to make some improvements but did not quite have the funding in order to also provide the improvements to the roadway, now we have, people using, church property for school pickup and drop off in this area, which is even, further impacting the area and that church, for example. So I bring that up as, a member of that church, where we enjoy serving the community. But for example, like it really becomes very difficult throughout times when there's football games or even things throughout the week where we want to love on people, but there's times that people are just kind of forced into it, and then once they get stuck in traffic for so long, they get aggravated, and it's kind of like if you sit at a stoplight for so long, at some point it becomes dangerous because people aren't willing to wait anymore, and then they're going to make drastic changes, which can become very unsafe, especially in a corridor that is very high in pedestrians during school times and all sorts of stuff. So I just wanted to bring that up, that while I take a point of contention with this development, with how close it is, proximity to our property, there's issues along Michigan that once they do their traffic study, a lot of it's it's already gonna red flag, but it really doesn't have much to do with them per se. It's just piling more and more on in an area that is just a 2-lane road when you come down to it, with very few turn lanes. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any more questions from the board?
May I add one more thing about the overall traffic? Currently, the county does label these two roads as operable at a standard level of B, which is significantly higher than that considered detrimental to the overall congestion of the area. They are considered operable roadways and are actually of high quality. There are congestion issues, yes, but they are not considered failing roadways at this time. So that's just something I wanted to keep in mind.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else in the audience who would like to speak for or against this request? We're closing this segment of the audience portion then. Anybody have any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, just a
Yes.
reminder that the commission should offer a motion with regard to agenda item B, which is ordinance 2021-68.
Yeah, we vote them
And-
separately.
Correct, and
Yeah.
then the separate, okay, thank you.
Yeah. First, we're going to vote on ordinance number 2021-68, DRCK CPA 21-00023. Do we have a motion on that? No motion?
We're going to need one.
Yeah.
We need one for or against it.
Okay, I'll try that one. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to deny ordinance number 2021-68, Frederick Homes Future Land Use Map Amendment, until more impact studies on traffic is conducted, and based on the 16 findings within the land development.
Would I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
So by showing of hands, who voted in favor of Ms. Grigsby's
Who
motion?
voted for?
So it's 3-2. So the recommendation of that was denial 3-2, based upon the concern on the traffic component. Okay? That's a recommendation. It's going to go to the council. I don't, staff will know when it's going to go before council. This is from the planning commission,
Yeah,
which
the
is an
next-
advisory commission.
Yeah, the next case would be ordinance number 2021-58, DRC case CMA 21-00008. Do I have a motion on that?
This is on the zoning portion of it.
The zoning, yes. For or against it, a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2021-58 based on the 16 findings.
Thank
of the
you.
London Code.
Do I have a second? I can second,
You
right?
can.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is there a third eye?
Anyone opposed?
Was there 3 ayes?
3 ayes, yeah.
3 ayes.
1, 2, 3.
All opposed?
Anyone
Aye.
opposed?
Okay,
Two
so that passes. The motion to approve the zoning piece.
Excuse me, I apologize to interrupt, but
Yeah,
the
no, I understand.
compatibility
But
of
if-
the zoning district with the future land use is now
but-
not compatible.
Yeah, it's okay. The
Okay.
commission's making a recommendation, which is going to be perceived, that it's going to be an
It'll-
inconsistent recommendation. So the
Yeah.
council will deal with it.
The council will deal with it, that's right.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
their job. That's what they get paid for.
That's right. So the first one was denied, the second one passes.
Yeah, the zoning recommendation was for approval, which was seconded and approved with a vote of 3-2 in favor of.
Yeah.
And just for public record, this case will be heard at City Council this Thursday on November 18th,
It's going
2021.
to be a busy Thursday.
Yeah. I think this concludes our
Yes, Yes, ma'am.
agenda, so,
And then our next meeting will be December 21st at 6
Okay.
PM.
21st,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
before Santa. Okay,
Before Santa Claus.
okay. Yeah, we don't have anything else, so we're closing this meeting.
Thank you for
Thank you.
everybody's attendance.
Yeah, I can't move until you hammer.
Oh, what,
We're
you guys
adjourned?
want to hear the hammer? Yeah, we're adjourned, yeah.
Usually we take a motion.